Hey guys, welcome back to Picky Pen's Tube. What are you colouring next? What are you colouring next week? Or what are you colouring next month? I am no longer colouring anything wintry. I'm fed up with it. I've had enough. I'm moving on. So if you saw my last video, you'll know that I've done my last wintry page now, and I'm all about looking forward to spring, which for me, and meteorologically speaking, starts on March the 1st. I know, astronomically speaking, it starts with the vernal equinox on March the 20th. That's when day and night are at equal lengths at that point in the year. But for me, it's always been a monthly thing. So March, April, May are my spring months. June, July, August, summer, etc. So yes, I'm looking to spring now. I've still got quite a few pages and buddy colours to do in February, which is fine. But I am done with winter. See you later. Jog on. And I actually, this is one of my February pages in the group that has sort of organically happened and created itself for this book, The Occult and Folklore Colouring Book by Duchess of Law. And there's 10 of us in it now. There were 6 last month, but on the back of my completed pages video, 4 more people have asked to join us, which is wonderful. So each month we've only been doing it since January, but each month we take it in turns to pick a short list, and then we all vote on it. So it was my turn to pick for February, so I made a short list of pages that I liked, and I included this one, which felt a little bit early while it's still winter, but actually it's perfect. This is what I'm calling the Ostara lamb. Ostara is, in fact, I'll read you what it says in the front of the book, because you know, if you've seen my videos before, I love this book and the fact that it gives us a little bit of backstory on all these occult and folklore sort of fables and tales. The Ostara lamb. Ostara is a pagan celebration that falls on the first day of spring. Lambs are an important symbol around this time of year, representing rebirth and new beginnings, and that is what spring is all about for me. And probably you. So it's always about new beginnings. It's about earth and nature waking up. There's a lot of that, so I love it. In fact, if I've got a picture, I'll pop it on screen. I was walking Rocket this morning, and I took a photograph of this single crocus in the middle of this massive football field. It includes 2 weekend-sized football fields, if you know what I mean, like amateur sized football fields, and in the centre of that field, it couldn't have got any closer to centre, there were just 1 crocus, and I walk all over the field with Rocket, chucking his ball for him. There was just this single crocus, and I just thought, if that's not spring sending as a sign to say, you know, good things are on the way, I don't know what is. So yeah, I'm very much looking forward to spring. If you watch my last video, you will know that I grow my own veg. A couple of people on back of that video asked to see some of my vegetable growing, so while I'm chatting now, for the next minute, I'm going to pop some pictures on screen of some vegetables that I grew last year. So yeah, that's there for them people that asked. I'll move on. So yeah, but spring is about, for example, seed sowing. Naturally, in the natural world, things have a life cycle, you know, like your perennial plants and vegetables and things. They will go to seed at the end of their season, and then those seeds will drop into the ground, and then they'll survive winter, and in the spring they will grow, and it's a wonderful thing to see a full 12 months through sort of the eyes of nature. And because I sow all my vegetables from seed, I'm lucky enough to get to see that, and some of the most beautiful flowers are vegetable flowers. So if ever you get the chance to grow your own veg, I would really recommend it. So like onion flowers are some of my favourite flowers. They're just stunning. And yeah, there's so many flowers that I grew last year, perennial flowers, that I know will be popping up any time now. And of course we've got our spring bulbs. Going into spring, we're going to start to see snowdrops, crocuses, then we're going to have the daffodils and then the tulips, and it's just a wonderful time when all our spring bulbs come to life and start pushing through yet again another year, pushing through to the surface. Nature is so incredibly sort of tenacious, and it just finds a way to survive. How these things survive winter is beyond me. Every year it surprises me. But yeah, hyacinths as well, bluebells, of course. We have sort of in the UK where I am, we see our bluebells are normally in May, so towards the end of spring. But yeah, at the moment it's going to be your snake's head fritillaries. They come out first, or early in my garden. Before that you have snowdrops and crocuses, obviously. But yeah, and then daffodils. Beautiful. I can't wait. So with this in mind, I came to this page today to make a start on thinking about a colour palette for it. And I just thought, why don't I, seeing as I've encouraged you to join me in saying goodbye to winter, why don't I encourage you to join me on saying hello to spring? So I'm going to do that today. I have got for you 25 different books to help you spring into spring, and in those 25 books I've got 40 fabulous pages to take you from winter to spring. So I'm focusing on the early part of spring because it's that transition period that I'm really interested in, and sort of the waking up of nature and the baby animals. You know, so many birds, families of birds manage to mate around this time of year. And we have blackbirds in our garden every year, and I was a bit worried because the blackbird count in the UK is going down, so it is actually something we should be worried about in the UK. So look after your birds, guys. If you're starting to think about your gardens in the northern hemisphere, I would so encourage you to do two things this year. Think about no mow May. So if you have got a lawn, have a think about not mowing it, or not mowing a grassy area and just leaving it for the wildlife, you know, for a bit of time in May, giving those sort of wild flowers and things chance to sort of bloom, but also create a little area for wildlife. We have a little pond and there's a bird table there and lots of nooks and crannies for hedgehogs to sort of take shelter in and things like that. So I encourage you now to start thinking about it at the end of February, and you know, why not make a bird box, make a hedgehog retreat, things like that. Maybe create a little bit of water, and some little hidden areas around it for, you know, wildlife. Let alone planting some beautiful flowers for bees and butterflies. That's a topic all of its own. Right, enough of my waffle. Let's get to these 40 amazing pages to launch you into spring. So before we get into the pages proper that I'm showing you today, I just want to talk about a few special days that occur through spring that I want to place a focus on this year. So stick with me on this concept. It's not revolutionary, but I do think it might be a little bit of extra fun that I can sort of deliver to you guys through my channel in spring, and a few fun challenges maybe. So on the 3rd of March it's World Wildlife Day, and I'd love us just for that day, or just a post on that day, let's colour some wildlife, and that's something I'll be doing and putting out for the 3rd of March, which is World Wildlife Day. So it'll be hashtag World Wildlife Day 26, just a one day thing. If anybody wants to join me on colouring wildlife specifically, so not cats and dogs, but yeah, that'd be wonderful. Then we also have in March, we have the 22nd of March, which is World Water Day. So I would like to set you a challenge for the 22nd of March to colour water. Do you find it quite intimidating, sort of colouring the surface of water? What about underwater scenes? Why not ahead of Mermay? Don't we get some practice in? Why not? Let's practice our water skills and complete one picture, even if we don't like colouring water. I'm talking to you, Jess, at Colouring Bumblebee. Why don't we, for the 22nd of March, it's World Water Day, let's colour some water. We'll also look into what the message is about. You can guarantee it's going to be about the water resources of the world and, you know, saving water. But yeah, for us in the colouring world, let's make it about practicing the colouring of water. And then we've got on the 15th of April, World Art Day. So hashtag World Art Day 26, one day only. Let's post some pictures of artworks, original pieces of art that we've done. Colouring and art are obviously linked. There are tons and tons of colourists who have got no interest in art whatsoever and believe that they're not artistic. Well, I don't think that's the case. I think everybody's got an artistic streak in them. It's just personal to them and their style. So I will be encouraging you for the 15th of April to complete, to post on the 15th of April. So in April, complete a wonderful piece of original art that's just expressive and free. I might even do a live and we'll have some fun with that where we can maybe create some pieces of art together. We'll see. So that's 15th of April, hashtag World Art Day 26. And then also on the 5th of May and on the 25th of May, there's two special days. The 5th of May is African World Heritage Day 26. And the 25th of May, and I don't know why there's two different days, the 25th of May is World Africa Day. So hashtag Africa Day 26 for the 25th of May and hashtag African World Heritage Day 26, 5th of May. So at some point in May, let's celebrate that and the African heritage. And why don't we take that as an opportunity to colour some fantastic pages, maybe in Rita Berman's book, you know, the Africa one, or in any other colouring book. But what I'd really like us to focus on, something that I need practice in, is colouring African, black or darker skin tones. So why don't we practice that in May? Either on the 5th of May or the 25th of May. We'll talk about it near at time. But yeah, isn't that a good idea? I think so. Because I've got no experience of colour combos for dark black or African skin. So we can tackle that together. And any of you guys who have experience, you can kind of get involved and give us advice. So that's May. Also in May, on the 16th of May, we have the International Day of Light. So hashtag International Day of Light 26 will be my call to you guys to practice light source. So let's do a page that sort of showcases the wonderful things we can do when we focus on a light source in a colouring page, and how that affects all the other elements on the page as well, so we can practice that. So we're going to be practicing in spring water, we're going to be doing an original piece of art, we're going to be practicing African black or darker skin tones, we're going to be practicing light sources, and we're going to be doing some wildlife drawing. So that sounds pretty cool, doesn't it? I'll remind you what's coming up when through my channel, so just click subscribe if you're interested in any of those fun challenges. Right then, let's get back to the video, the reason that we're here today, which is to look at these wonderful 25 fantastic books that contain 40 wonderful pages to get us into the mood for spring. Here we go. So this page is the first one, which I've discussed with you. That's the first page I'll be completing ahead of spring. You'll see this in my completed pages video for February. And then there's this page, which I have to remind myself how to say this word. This is an egg, and it's this page is about the tradition of like wax, what do they call it, wax relief, is it wax relief? Let me try and remember. Yeah, these are pifk, so decorated eggs called pifk. They're inspired by the tradition of wax resist, not wax relief. That'd be something totally different. But wax resist, egg decorating with Slavic pagan roots. They were honoured as a symbol of rebirth during the Rite of Spring festivals, so that would be perfect. And then the opposite page is the egg-born princess. Inspired by the Estonian folktale, this princess is hatching from a paisanki style decorated egg. So these two pages go hand in hand, and it's, you know, all about Estonian or pagan festivals around spring. So yeah, wax resist egg painting. I haven't done that for I remember doing that at Girls Brigade. Girls Brigade, I suppose, like it's like a little bit like Boy Scouts in the UK, something that girls go to. But yeah, so I thought these two pages, anything with eggs, decorative eggs, is going to feel spring-like, because we do a lot of that for Easter, don't we? Easter this year is on April the 5th, so that's another date for your diary, not to forget. We also have something I want to focus on today as well, is moons. So everything time and, you know, seasons and all that, it's all about moons and tides in it. So there's several important moon phases in spring, which we'll touch on later as well. But yeah, for now, I've classed this as one page, but yeah, so the paisanki egg, or the paisanki princess. So yeah, you can see the eggs opened up there. Really nice combo of pages. So that's in Occult and Folklore colouring book by Duchess of Law. Two cracking pages there to get us going. Then next, this video could not exist without this wonderful book, A Million Baby Animals by the fantastic Lulu Mayo. And all this book would probably be appropriate for spring, because animals, I always remember one of my favourite films as a child was Bambi, and I love the start of Bambi where it's, you know, there's the April Showers tune, and I've tried to repeat this piece of music in a video before and I can't do it, but it's kind of like a April Showers. Oh no, I always go into Inspector Gadget. If I can get a clip, my YouTube won't let me play a clip. But anyway, the start of Bambi, I love when the forest is waking up, the baby animals that have been born are kind of creeping out of their dens and nests. And this book's perfect for spring. But as I'm trying to just stick to one page, I've got these 40 pages to show you. I won't flick through too much, but as you can see, there'll be lots of... See, this would be wonderful for spring as well, because it's very Easter appropriate. But this page is the one that I chose. Again, lambs being a symbol of new beginnings and spring. I thought this double page would be absolutely gorgeous. And you can do it as one page, can't you? Because Lulu has cleverly, unlike some illustrators or publishers, she's not put a main element over the crease, which I really appreciate. Thank you, Lulu. So yeah, that would be a wonderful page. We've got some baby rabbits as well there. Little baby mice. Oh, hedgehogs, which are one of my favourite things to see in the garden. Very, very rare though. If you see them, I often think it's probably because something's not right, because we shouldn't really see them, should we? So often when I've seen them, they've been a bit poorly. But anyway, so yes, some beautiful lambs in Lulu's A Million Baby Animals. How cool's that? Fantastic page option there. Then, for you, you lovely weirdos that enjoy colouring mandalas, and I say that with the greatest affection. I've got this book for a reason. It was actually gifted to me. But let me tell you, if you think you don't like mandalas, take a look at a flip through of this book, because it's like mandalas, but with a twist. Not quite. They're not totally symmetrical, or whatever you want to call it, all the way around. They don't repeat. It's not identical repetition all the way around the mandala. It's better than that. But yes, if you enjoy mandalas, and I hope you know how to take me by now. If this is first video, you'll think, well, she's a bit rude calling me a weirdo, but I say it with great affection. If you're a lovely weirdo that enjoys mandalas, how about this one? I fancy it. So take a look at this. We've got daffodils, tulips all around the edge, beautifully drawn by Melpomene Chatsapanagiotou. We've got some dragonflies, and here, this is what I find most interesting, and this is where it gets different, you see. These are identical. We have some spring bulbs, so that looks like a tulip there. We don't know what this is going to be yet. This could be a hyacinth. Just pause that there a second. I've got that wrong. What this is 4 pictures showing the phases of the growth of the tulip. So you can see it's from it not showing a little bit, showing a bit more, to it blooming. What a wally. I'm just using my imagination. But I thought that would be a perfect page to welcome spring in a wonderful book. So yes, Nature Mandalas. Don't write it off, guys. Look, different fish. There's always a little bit of difference. There we've got, that looks like a koala, a kangaroo, an emu. And come on, Australian people, can you tell me what this bird is? That's going to be an Australian bird, isn't it? If that's a koala, an emu, kangaroo. What's this birdie? But yeah, this is a fantastic book anyway, so don't write it off because it's mandalas. I was gifted this by my friend Sarah, and I absolutely love it. Can't wait to get to it. Hopefully I'll do that page this spring. Then we have, sticking with Mel Chat for a moment, Circle of Life. Surely there's going to be something in this book, and I thought, first of all, it might not appear obviously spring-like, but look at this for new beginnings and regeneration and fertility, and you know, thinking of all that good stuff that happens in spring. We've got this chrysalis to butterfly scenario, and I think it's one of the, I mean, I'm not saying this would be in that video, but that I am doing a world's best colouring pages as part of my ultimate series. I mean, can you believe the work I'm going to have to put into thinking about that? I'm talking about the top 10 single best colouring pages in the world. And I'm not suggesting this would be in it. I don't think it would be. But what I'm saying is, how unique is that for a colouring page? It's wonderful. So yes, fantastic. And then also in Circle of Life, I liked the look of this one, because like I was saying about the blackbirds, we'll soon be finding eggs. We'll soon be finding where they've put their nest in our little hedge that runs down the side of my garden. And last year we could see the babies, the eggs in the nest. Sadly, the neighbourhood cats got to the eggs before they were able to hatch, which broke my absolute heart. It took me a week to get over it, because it's the first time I've really cared for birds in my garden, and I was so invested. But I have to realise that nature is nature, sadly, and these things will happen. So yeah, I don't like it though. But yeah, that's a gorgeous page for spring. Some little baby birds ready to come out into the world in springtime. So there we go. That's Circle of Life by Mel Chat. And then of course we're bound to have some RJ Hampson on any list I do. So this is Forest Song, and I thought this page titled by RJ as Spring would be perfect. So again, I'm getting that start of Bambi vibes. I must watch Bambi again soon. I right fancy having a Bambi day today, actually. You know, it's freezing outside. Get the fire on. Get wrapped up in my throw on the sofa. Some snacks. Some Maltesers or something like that. A drink and watch Bambi. Me and Rocket cuddled up on the sofa watching Bambi. I think that's what my afternoon entails. So we have some birds in this tree, so some lovely spring birds. We've got a little rabbit, some flowers, and obviously these young looking deer. So absolutely perfect. And that's my one RJ page in this list in Forest Song. Then we've got a couple of Stratton Peterson options. So first of all, let's take a look at some pages in Mystic Animals that might be appropriate. And, you know, have a look at this cover. That feels pretty spring-like, doesn't it? So first of all, this otter, which it's not necessarily spring, but I feel like it puts me in that mood when I'm thinking about nature. I just think it's a lovely, you know, the rivers as well as your gardens and as countryside come into life, all as river and as lakes. Certainly in the Northern Hemisphere for spring, they come to life as well. So all the stuff around my pond dies over winter, and I leave it there for the wildlife to make the little homes in, and then it all regenerates in spring. And then you start to see, obviously with May, we have the mayflies, which then are food for the salmon and things like that. So, and then you get to see dragonflies. But yes, I love otters. I just know the reason that I love otters. And yeah, what I've just said, I wanted to include this page. Love an otter. I'd like to do that page at some point. It's one of them pages that I've had my eye on for a while. Just never got to it. And then this would be perfect. The hare. So, not necessarily exactly all spring flowers. I can see some flowers here. Like these could be Rudbeckia. That could be more summery, but these certainly I think could look like spring flowers, and anything rabbity or hairy I think of as spring. So the hare is associated with changing seasons. This is another reason it could be an appropriate page for you for spring. In spring, athletic female hares are seen boxing away tiresome males. How fantastic is that? Their self-assured natures are a reminder to defend your personal boundaries. Listen up, ladies. Let's follow the hare. Renowned by hunters for being difficult to catch, this animal's ability to escape harm makes it a symbol of prosperity in many cultures. Well, that's fantastic. So, nesting in hollows in the ground or hidden by long grass, the hare is a creature of the earth. But I love that. So in spring, athletic female hares are seen boxing away tiresome males. Absolutely love it. More of that needs to go on in humanity. You know, when you're out in a group of women having a bit of girl time, might be in a little bar or something, and you've got a group of men jeering at you. It doesn't happen to me because I don't go out. But yeah, just remember in that situation, remember the hare and just, give him an uppercut. Oh, all right, tickled myself there. Right, so that's Mystic Animals by Stratton Peterson. Sticking with Stratton Peterson for a page here in Nature's Magic, a colouring book of healing plants and remedies. And I saw this page and I thought, wow, that's perfect. So it actually features sunflowers, which I do see as more of a summer flower. But obviously I start growing them pretty early myself from seed. But there's also here some daffodils. So the radiant sunflower is a symbol of joy and abundance. The ancients believed that this plant held positive energy, inspired by the way the flowers naturally follow the path of the sun, which is a phenomena known as phototropism. This, along with its golden petals, makes the sunflower a popular choice in magic to promote happiness, especially if it's combined with other yellow and orange blooms. Here it is paired with pale yellow daffodils, which have a sweet scent and are believed to be a positive omen. So for the daffodils alone, we've got a great spring page there. But I also like that message. And who else sees happiness as yellow? So we are a bunch of colourists, so colours matter to us. And I think springtime more than any other season, yellows, along with all those other pastel colours, but when you see yellows, I always think baby chicks at Easter. I think of Easter, yellow ribbons for some reason, daffodils obviously. So yellow is a very spring-like colour for me. And these daffodils, you could do in all different yellows, maybe some of them buttery yellows or the bright, bright yellows that we traditionally know sort of daffodils to be in. But I thought that would be a gorgeous page. In Nature's Magic by Stratton Peterson there. So, sticking with Stratton, lunar colouring. And I was talking about moons briefly earlier. And I think I've got an example of 3 of the moons through spring for you here. So this is an image of the crow moon, the 3rd full moon of the year, and it's a March moon. There's also a moon in March known as the worm moon. I don't know whether that's another name for this moon or not. But yeah, this it takes its name from the time of year when crows become more active after the harsh winter. Don't we know about that? Energised by the radiance of this full moon, here the crow is cawing its distinctive call, heralding the return of spring. How perfect's that? So we've got some daffies again, and these are snowdrops. And what else do I recognise? These are just grasses, aren't they? But yes, so the crow moon for March would be wonderful as an option to take us into spring. Then we have in April, there is a full moon known as the pink moon, and we've got it's named after the moss phlox wildflower, which blooms early in North America, carpeting fields and mountains. Let me know if you're familiar with that wildflower, the moss phlox. In this image, the moon is depicted surrounded by these wildflowers. So there, tell me what colours. In fact, I'll do a little Google and I'll put an image on screen of the moss phlox wildflower. So this will be perfect in April for that pink moon, and you could use pink as your colour sort of prompt and go for all pinks. See, these are flamingos, so that would be an easy choice, wouldn't it? That's why I think Stratton's illustrated them in there with the pink moon. So yes, that would be a wonderful one to enjoy in April. Nose blowing break. And then, it's my new phrase, isn't it? The flower moon, which is a May moon, and it's the 5th full moon of the year, sometimes known as the flower moon. While certain early wildflowers appear in April in the Northern Hemisphere, May is the month where they really take hold over the landscape, and we certainly notice that in England and the UK. So the flowers seen here all bloom in May in North America and have particular symbolic meanings. So we've got violets, bluebells, lupin, indigo and sundrops. So again, for my American friends, do you have any of these flowers growing near you? Do you grow them? Have you got a wildflower patch or a wildlife patch in your garden? Do you grow any of these flowers? So yes, I see the bluebells there. I was just having a look. Violets here. Are violets like violas? Like violas and pansies, or is violet something different? Sundrops, I've never heard of them. I wonder if we just call them something different. But yeah, I thought the flower moon would be a lovely spring page as well. And that is in Lunar Colouring by Stratton Peterson. Then we can't leave out our Kirby fans, can we? So it is hard to get a page that depicts spring in Kirby. But how about we consider doing the European hamster? Now, look at him. He's an endangered species. We've kept hamsters as kids. I don't know whether if that's just a UK thing or a European thing, but we keep hamsters as pets. But I thought these flowers round here, we've got some butterflies. This feels like a May page to me. You know, getting towards, I mean, butterflies here come a bit later in the year. They're definitely more summer. So it probably is more of a summer page. But still, if you really want to do some Kirby, I think this is the most spring-like feeling page. And he's such a cutie. I mean, Kirby has drawn him really accurately. That is how cute hamsters are. That is how cute they are. So yes, think of the European hamster this spring. Maybe consider colouring him and fulfilling his destiny to be coloured in beautiful colours here. And it's got a lot of gorgeous colours in his fur, actually, the European hamster. So I'll pop a picture on screen of the real thing, and you can read about him in the back of Kirby's book, obviously. So yes, the European hamster would be a good Kirby option if you really want to do a Kirby page that relates to spring. I think this might be the nearest you're going to get. In Fragile World, of course. Then moving on, I haven't got to this book yet. There's many untouched books that I haven't got to, but this is the Flora and Fauna colouring book by Emma Peters at Storm's Eye Designs. And I just felt, when I think about sort of re-emergence of, you know, plant life and hibernating animals, things like that in spring, I just saw this page and I thought, how cute is he? Aren't moles just super cute? We've got some lovely flowers we can include, but I just thought of this and it just sort of summed up. I don't know much about moles, but I just feel like he has had a long sleep and he's popping his head up to see if it's, you know, if chill's out of the air yet. Is it safe to come out? And of course it is, because we've got a lovely image of spring here with the flowers. So I thought that would be a good one in the Flora and Fauna colouring book by Storm's Eye Designs. Then we've got a couple of Layla Dooley options next. So this page you can find in the Floribunda year or in the flower year. I have both. So if you've got one, you'll be able to do this page no matter which you've got. And that is the March title page, which I think is perfect for spring. So it says, March brings breezes loud and shrill, stirs the dancing daffodil. And that's a quote from Sarah Coleridge. So, yeah, we've got daffies. This looks like a, what do they call it? Dandelion to me, that. It will tell us in the back of the book, actually. Let me see. Oh yeah, daffodil and dandelion. That's as much identification as it needed, apparently. So yeah, this here is a dandelion head, you know, from straight on, and this is a side version. Layla's work is very, very intricate, but if you take your time with it, it's very, very enjoyable, very relaxing, and I always go for as my most realistic colouring when I do any Layla Dooley pages, and I'll pop a page that I did of some blackberries, and can't remember if it was August or September, but I'll pop that page up on screen so you can see what I mean. But yeah, I tried, that's about as realistic as I'm going to get with my colouring, but I'm gutted I ain't got back to the book. In fact, why am I popping it up on screen? It'll be in here. Oh, that's one I did for October, and then that's my favourite, my September page. So yeah, I don't know why I said I'd put it on screen. I'm forgetting I've got these books in front of me. But I'm so, so proud of this. It's one of my favourite pages I've ever done. I love everything about what I did with it. So it's perfect for me. This is exactly what I was going for, what I wanted to achieve. Yeah, I'm super proud of that page. So yeah, this would be a great one to do for, it's going to be a cacophony of yellows and greens in it with the daffodils and the dandelions. So it's about getting the right family of greens that are sort of, if you want to do plant accurate, you know, species accurate, you can do, can't you? Lots of looking at some reference pictures. But the dandelion tends to be quite bright, whereas the daffodil could be quite like a pale pastel yellow or a buttery yellow. It could even have bits of white in it. So yes, have a think about that for a spring page in Floribunda year or the flower year if you have that one. Ooh. Oh, and then April. I've obviously thought that I wanted to show you April as well. So April is, we have more wildlife in it. So we've got some birds, this little rabbit, we've got this little young bird here, and we've got lots of lovely flowers. It says, I just realised that says overlook, but in, you know, so it says, I'll not overlook the modest flowers that made the woods of April bright. So overlook is overlook. William Cullen Bryant. If you're familiar with his work, you'd have got there before me, I guess. So yeah, that'd be a lovely page for spring as well. All right, that's Floribunda year. Then also with Layla Dooley, surely there's going to be something. This is quite a big book, so I'll try and keep it, most of it, in frame. And I just thought there was this lovely page here, which might not stand out as spring-like to you particularly, but this is actually wild garlic, and I forage for this in the UK in our local woodland in April usually. So it depends on how the weather is that year, I guess, but yeah, we go foraging for wild garlic in April, and I have some growing in the garden as well. So yeah, wild garlic, if you're into your sort of foraging, or you just like wildlife and plants, this might be a good one to take you into spring. There's going to be lots of other pages in this book as well that'll feel spring-like, but for me, a bit of wild garlic is wonderful. That's in Walk in the Woods. Then this book, Årstider, which translates to Seasons, by Maria Trolle. There's going to be a wealth of spring-like pages in this book. It didn't let us down in autumn, did it? Look at all these already, perfect. The page I wanted to focus on was either of these two, but this one just screams spring to me, this. It's beautiful. We've got some ladybugs, we've got eggs, which always is very Eastery, and of course a little Easter chick. So that would be sweet. And another option. What about one of these two Eastery pages? So these decorative eggs that have been hung on a... Oh, what are these? What are these now? I know some of you will know what this tree is. Is it like a pussy willow? What is it called? What is that called? Somebody tell me in comments. Oh, we've got this lovely basket of decorative eggs for the, all ready for the Easter egg hunt, and we've got some daffies as well. Beautiful. Some early butterflies as well. You don't get butterflies at Easter. We'd like to think we do, but they're generally more sort of into June, July, aren't they? In the UK anyway. So yeah, that's a good option. And then this one is just sort of, this is how I'll be getting to feeling soon. So I mentioned in my last video, we always seem to get a false spring, certainly here in the UK, and it's just, we get a really mild week or weekend towards the end of February, and it leads you into a false sense of security, and you start thinking, oh my god, spring's here. And then we get 3 weeks of pouring down rain. But yeah, this will be me in the false spring of February, going out into my garden, venturing out there, seeing what's happened over winter. I mean, I see my garden every day, but I don't always go out into the garden if it's wet and rainy. I just leave it to the birds and the wildlife. But yes, Rocket goes out every day, like causing trouble with neighbourhood cats. But yeah, some daffodils again. This just feels spring-like. She's going to go tidy up all the garden after winter. So that's in Årstider by Maria Trolle. And sticking with Maria, how about something in Flora? Loads of options in here. What a beautiful book this is. Truly, truly gorgeous. And, ooh, easily forgotten now, I guess, this book. Yeah, for this daffodil page, which would be quite nice. We've got some tulips there as well. But yeah, I like the little bee and the daffodils mainly. I'm daffodil obsessed when it comes to spring. And then also this page is one I wanted to highlight. We've got some gorgeous tulips. These, which are like bluebells, and we've got a couple of baby birdies, which I think are owls, looking at them. He's sweet as well, isn't he? This little chap with these tulips. But yeah, tulips, wonderful for spring. So that's in Flora by Maria Trolle. And then we've got to have some Hannah Carlson, surely. So let's take a look in Seasons. There is a few pages that I felt was appropriate, depending on how you interpret them. But I thought this one in particular, I've seen this page coloured a lot but now if you've not had a go with it, I think now's the time. So we've got these cracked eggs, these new chicks, little baby prince and princess of the forest. We've got some what look like maybe hyacinths, and then some fantastic spring daffodils. So that would be a wonderful, wonderful spring page for you to kick off the spring season in Hannah Carlson's Seasons. Next up, we couldn't have this book about spring without including a Rita book, because she gives us lots of seasonal fantasticness. So this is in Mein Spaziergang durch die Reise. So this is in Mein Spaziergang durch die Reise. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Mein Spaziergang durch die Reise by Rita Berman. Moving swiftly on after that pronunciation. We've got some gorgeous Easter eggs, very spring-like, some birds, some bugs and bees and whatnot, but then most of all we have daffies. Some more daffodils. Are we going to get daffodiled out in early spring? I do hope so. So that's one beautiful page. What a cracking page in this book. And then similarly, but I find this even better. I love that Rita's done this, because she's given us, you know, she's given us the beautiful flowers, but we can also see the gorgeous bulbs underneath. And isn't it, it's just fabulous. Obviously they grow like onions. And that will just stay under for years and keep producing, not forever, but we'll keep producing flowers every single spring. So beautiful. So these are, oh, what are these blooming things called? I always have these come up. I've forgotten. And them, I've forgotten their name. These are like hyacinths. Oh, I've got some of them as well. Some snowdrops. Some daffies. Is that a tulip? Just gorgeous. Fantastic spring page that. In that book by Rita Berman. I'll always have a go at pronunciations. It's fine. So this is Wald und Nature. Oh dear, I've got giggles. Now this is one of my favourite illustrators in the world. If you recently watched my, you know, part 2 of my Ultimate Series, Best Illustrators in the World, if it were my personal list, this lady would be on that list. Reyhan Udachi. Again, I've probably not pronounced that right. And this is Wald und Natur, which is, I think, is wild and nature, maybe something like that. But it's full of gorgeous nature drawings. But this got me thinking of spring, because I mentioned I had a grow tent upstairs, which I have, and I've got I don't have a proper greenhouse, I'm not that lucky, but I've got a poly house outside, and we get into thinking about sowing our seeds in the greenhouses now with a little bit of heat added, and this just felt very, if you're a gardener, this will feel quite spring-like, for you. And then also in this book, I just adored these little daffodils here. I love Reyhan's illustration style. It is beautiful. She's one of my favourite illustrators in the world, 100%. These look like tulips, very open tulips, and some other flowers. Beautiful page for spring, but especially because there's some daffodils. So yes, that's in Wald und Natur. And then for my friends who enjoy a scene, I wanted to find some scenes that were spring-like. And I thought this one was very spring-like, because we've got these, just a multitude of tulips growing here. This is could be very Amsterdam-y for me, although from being there's some hills in the background. I suppose there's a few hills in Amsterdam, but I remember it being quite flat. But yeah, windmills and tulips. Tulips always say spring to me, so I thought that might be a pretty spring scene. And we've obviously got sheep or lambs in the field as well, which are symbolic of spring. as we've already discussed. So that is in Creative Haven's Wish You Were Here, illustrated by Teresa Goodridge. And then onto this book, which I've kind of got a more open mind when it comes to Paul Brun now. Paula Brun, I think it is, with her illustration style, which used to bother me, but then I understood what it was about. So she illustrates animals, and they look sometimes to be impaled by what are invasive species. So it's the effect of invasive species on indigenous wildlife, if that's a phrase, if I've got that right. So yeah, that's what her illustrations are about in these books. So I have a bit more respect for them now. So yeah, let's take a look at this page again for my friends who enjoy colouring the scenes. My friend Kathy, I think, has coloured this scene. I might be wrong. Kathy, tell me in the comments. Was it this scene that you coloured? And it was absolutely stunning. You coloured a scene like this. And that's what prompted me to put this book on my wish list. And my colouring bestie, Holly, she's awesome. And she got me this book. Bless her. So thank you, Holly. This is a beautiful spring scene. It might not be overtly spring, but when I look, we've got daffodils. We've got these, and I've still not remembered the name of them. It's going to bother me, that. When they're out, it's you remember it, don't you, when they're out in your garden. And we've got these are either coots or moorhens. But yeah, this could very well be a beautiful spring scene as the river and the surrounding area wakes up after winter. Beautiful. Some more flowers here, look. Gorgeous. So yeah, fantastic option in Animaux de Bois. And then this book, The Scottish Gardens colouring book by Eilidh Muldoon. I think that's how you say her name. And again, just for the gardeners really, if your attention's turning to your garden now and you're growing for the season ahead, how about this lovely greenhouse page, which is beautiful if you've got this book. Lots of options in this book, and also in Scottish Nature by the same illustrator. You'll find lots of lovely options for spring. But this is the one that I chose to feature today, the Scottish Gardens colouring book. And then we have this. Oh, flipping heck, I've forgotten to refresh myself on the title. It's something like The Rabbit's Adventure book or something. And I forget the name of because it's all in Japanese, I forget the name of the illustrator as well, but I'll pop it on screen for you now. And in this book, which I know quite a few people have got, I thought this was quite spring-like. It does feel a little bit summery for me with the strawberries, because I don't get strawberries until a bit closer to summer really. But then we've got the plant pots. These look so much like pansies or violas, so they could be coloured. And I love those purple and yellow pansies and violas that you get, or purple and white, beautiful. So we've got some, these look more like maybe anemones. These could be primrose. They can be whatever you want them to be, but it felt very spring-like. We've got some wellies and some little harvest basket. So this is a bit more summery, I would guess, but I think you can pass for spring if you've got this book and you fancy doing something pretty. But yeah, just if you make these a feature, very spring-like, because my pansies and primroses are often the first things to flower in my garden after the bulbs, you know, the non-bulb flowers, primroses and violas or pansies. Beautiful. In the rabbits, I'm going to call it Rabbit's Storybook Adventure. Oh dear. I've saved what I think is one of the best spring illustrators until last. We've got several Kenoko Igusa options. So Garden of Fairy Tale Animals first of all, which is probably of the books that I have my least favourite, I would say. I love some of the elements of this page, but I would never colour it because of all this filigree border work. But this is a glorious page for spring. Look at that. So we've got a lovely bird there, and a ladybug, a couple of ladybugs, and then we've got tulips. These could be several different flowers, they could be. That would be up to you. But yeah, all these tulips in a beautiful spring town scene would be gorgeous. So that's in Garden of Fairy Tale Animals. And then in Symphony of Cute Animals, we have a couple of options. She is sort of the queen of spring-like wholesome colouring, I think. Look at that. What a page for spring. Who's doing this? Let me know in the comments if this is on your list for spring, if you've not already done it. I bet a lot of people have. But obviously I'm new to colouring, so it's quite exciting for me, the prospect of a page like this. But I think her buildings are always beautiful, her scenery beautiful, her animals are absolutely exquisite. So you know she was in my top 10, not my list, but she would be in my list, but she was in the video I made, what my guesses would be for the world's top 10 colouring book illustrators. So we've got some, I forgot the name of these as well. God, I tell you what, menopausal brain fog is something else. These are snowdrops. These are crocuses, daffodils, and we've got a lovely birdie, and these beautiful lambs, which are just gorgeous. Look at them. Look at the faces. Look at his face. Just beautiful. So what a page that is off Kenoko. Thank you, Kenoko. But yet again, you know, this daffodil central feature, this bird going over at crease, he could have just done with moving that way for me, please, if you would. Next time. And then we've got these as options. Look at this big massive Easter egg. And look at these two. I'm going to call them, I mean, they've got some berets on the red, these two little chicks. So I'm going to call them French chicks. Look at these two French chicks. Ho, ho, ho. With some lovely spring flowers. They look like anemones. Violas or pansies. This could be a peony, I suppose. Tulip. And then over here, bonus page, we've got a little spring lamb with a bell round its neck. I love seeing pictures of lambs, but I also love to eat them as well. So I love roast lamb, and spring is the season for it. So I eat a lot of lamb in spring. It's delicious. But I always like to know where I've got my meat from, because I do care about animal welfare, so the conditions that they are kept in is important. However, let's not start a debate about vegetarianism and all that. I respect vegetarians, vegans, the lot. I'm never going to try and force you to eat meat, so I'm never going to try and push you in that direction. So I would appreciate it if we just both agree to respect each other's beliefs. But yeah, I love roast lamb. I also like roast chicken. In fact, this looks like my Sunday lunch for spring. That's terrible. Terrible. How inappropriate. I don't like rabbit. That's a step too far, because I used to collect all things rabbit as a child, so I was never able. My mum once gave me rabbit stew, and it probably tasted fine, but I couldn't get my head around the fact it was a rabbit. And also, we used to have a boat on the river, and my dad once shot a duck, and my mum plucked it, and we had roast duck. And I didn't enjoy that, because I quite like ducks as well, so I didn't enjoy that. But I'm perfectly happy eating chicken and lamb. And these guys, I won't eat these. These look like some sort of rodent. I might have to cut that whole segment out of this video. I'm just thinking about my lamb chops for my tea now. But yeah, super cute the way she draws lambs. And then there's this page which I completed in January, which I haven't got an uncoloured version to show you because I've coloured it, but it's perfect for spring. So I went with these as being raspberry flowers, which I think would be more summer. Cowslips, and then I chose to believe these were maybe primroses, tulips and bluebells, and that's a really sweet scene for spring as well. So that's in Symphony of Cute Animals. Then we have Kingdom of Curious Creatures, a fairy tale adventure book by Kenoko Igusa as well. And just look at this. Title page. Wow. So you can tackle the title pages as well. Hashtag tackle the title pages. But also knock off a spring page. Again, Kenoko's just given us spring in a page. Wonderful. We've got these hyacinths. Crocuses, these things that I can't remember the blooming name of. It's going to drive me insane. Daffodils, these little mini daffies that you get. Oh, he's an handsome chap. Look at his little family. And then the cat. Our cats in our neighbourhood don't mix so well with birds. Isn't that a shame that that is over the blooming crease? That's one thing Kenoko or her publishers don't do well. There's often a feature like that over the crease, and if you're doing it for a colouring book, if you are illustrating specifically for a colouring book, I don't understand why this happens. I really don't. This is gorgeous, so that's why I've marked this page. We've got some crocuses, other spring flowers. We have these beautiful, look at how cute he is. I can just imagine him like jumping about. So these baby goats, oh my gosh, look how cute they are. They are so cute. Baby goats. Fantastic. That's a gorgeous page. I don't like pages where things are separate as much as I like a scene, but some people love that sort of thing, so this could be a really nice mindless colour. And then we've got this little scene in the middle. And then finally in this book, we have this page, which is, you know, got me Bambi vibes again. And look at this little guy here holding what looks to be like a viola or a pansy. Little squirrel, super cute. Got these like a mummy deer and a fawn and some squirrels. And then these garlands of violas or pansies. Wouldn't they just look gorgeous coloured in? This is just beautiful for spring. Absolutely fantastic. If you colour any of these pages, guys, I've got one more book to go, but if you colour any of these pages that I've talked about and you want to show me, you can always send me them on DM or just tag me and say, remember when you did that video, Joe? I've done one of them pages that you suggested. I'd love to see it. Then finally, Leon's Journey, which is just... again, perfect for spring. Thank you, Kenoko. This page has been done quite a lot, but it's fantastic for spring. You've got these baby chicks, baby ducks, being mothered by this rabbit, which is just super cute. Anyway, lovely ribbon round the neck and a little eggshell, so it's just like symbolic of rebirth and regeneration. I just absolutely love it. And there's tons of pages. Again, these are just bonus pages, but right through Leon's Journey. Look, you've got some baby chicks there. Spring collection. So all these pages would be appropriate. There were just so many in it. I couldn't mention them all. You've got bluebells there, some baby chicks. Because it's seasonal, it takes place through the season. And just a drawing and an illustration is stunning. Absolutely stunning. And then also, just to show you, there's if you want to, you know, celebrate the rainy showers of April showers, there is a page that kind of, where is it? Celebrates April's more miserable weather. Have I passed it? There we go. Rainy day fashion for animals, which is kind of cute. So yeah, loads of options for spring in Leon's journey. I really hope you've enjoyed that little look through some spring pages. I hope it's put you in the mood for what is to come, and I hope you're ready to, like me, leave behind the cold of winter. Now, I just want to say, I totally appreciate that a chunk of my audience, particularly if I'm talking about myself as a creator on a channel, they are not in winter at the moment and not going into spring. They are currently roasting alive in the sort of heat of summer still at the moment. So I know this video weren't appropriate for them just now, but it's there for you when you are going into spring. And no doubt in the autumn I'll probably do something similar, or for summer, and those videos will always be there. Don't think that I see my world as just the Northern Hemisphere. I don't. I'm fully in touch with friends that I've made through colouring. Jackie, I text now and again, and people like that in, down under. So I know what their weather they're experiencing and what season they're experiencing at the moment. And I do think about you. But inevitably, I'm in the UK, so I am going into spring next. So I hope you don't mind that this video focuses on that. The video's there when you go into your spring as well for you guys. I think that's all I've got to say today on the subject of springing into spring. If you don't mind, would you please hit like on this video? I mean, you could do it now if you wanted. Just while I'm yabbering on, hit like on the video. And if you want to leave a comment on anything that I've discussed today, please do so. I love getting the comments. It's my favourite thing. I love Instagram and Facebook and that, but my favourite place to engage with my colouring friends is in the comments under my videos. It's like, I feel like it's where I see all the same people. It's like going into the tap room in my local pub and seeing the same faces and, socialising a little bit. I love that, and that's done in the comments section. But you can always DM me if you want to talk about anything one-on-one and get a conversation going on any points. I don't mind that at all. I'm obviously, if you watched my last video, I'm not buddying for the foreseeable future, but I will always share what I'm colouring with you through my channel and my Instagram. And if ever I'm colouring something you think I want to colour that, just start it and then let me know that you've started it, and maybe we can finish it together. But yeah, I'm staying strong. I'm not making any commitments for my own good, really. I'm going to enjoy a few months of total creative freedom and posting freedom as well. So see, when you're doing a buddy colour as well, and you create content for a YouTube channel, your buddy doesn't always want to see what you're working on, you see, so it limits what I can show you content wise when I'm buddying. So yeah, some buddies don't want to see what you're working on, so you can't, if all the pages I'm working on are buddy colours, it limits what I can share through my channel at the time I'm working on it, so that'll be good as well. Right then, until next time guys, have a wonderful end to February. I'll speak to you before the end of February anyway, but until next time, ta-ra for now.